The siege of Homs was a military confrontation between the Syrian military and the Syrian opposition in the city of Homs as a part of the Syrian Civil War. The siege lasted 3 years from May 2011 to May 2014 and resulted in an opposition withdrawal from the city. Nationwide anti-government protests began in March 2011, and clashes between security forces and protesters in Homs intensified in April. Early May 2011, the Syrian military conducted a crackdown against anti-government protesters in Homs. While the Syrian government had succeeded to temporarily quell the March-April Dara protests with a large-scale military operation, this early May military operation in Homs failed to succeed likewise. By September, sectarian clashes and bloodshed in Homs between Alawites and Sunnis played a larger role in Homs than in the rest of Syria. In late October 2011, a Free Syrian Army brigade built around defected army officers repeatedly ambushed government security forces around the Baba Amra neighborhood of Homs and through early November successfully defended the Baba Amra neighborhood. In late December 2011, an Arab mission was sent to monitor the situation following the Arab League plan. Following the abortive mission, the Syrian army in February 2012 launched an offensive against Baba Amra, shelling the entire district and blocking all supply routes. In early March, government forces launched a ground assault into Baba Amra, forcing the rebels to withdraw from the neighborhood. By early May 2012, following a UN-brokered ceasefire, only sporadic street fighting and shelling occurred. During this time, the government was in control of most of the city. The opposition held between 15% and 20% of Homs while fighting for control of a similar-sized area was still ongoing. In December 2012, the Syrian army captured the district of Deir Balba, leaving only the old city, Khalidia district, and a few other areas under rebel control. In early March 2013, government forces launched an assault into several rebel-controlled neighborhoods, but the rebels, reinforced by units that arrived from the nearby rebel-controlled town of Al-Qasr, managed to repel the attacks. In mid-March, rebels attempted to retake Baba Amra, but were forced to pull back later in the month. In March and early April 2013, the Lebanese Hezbollah militia moved fully into the Homs fighting, in assistance to the Syrian government forces. In late July, government forces captured the Khalidia district. In early May 2014, following an agreement reached between the government and the rebels, rebel forces were allowed to evacuate the city, leaving Homs under full government control. Background: on 15 March 2011, a protest movement against the Syrian government began to escalate, as simultaneous demonstrations took place in major cities across Syria. Major issues included government corruption and repression. The protests spread to Homs on 18 March, after online calls for a Friday of dignity. Thousands of protesters took to the streets after Friday prayers. Attempting to disperse the crowds, police conducted many arrests and assaulted protesters. As protests continued into April, security forces fired on demonstrators, resulting in dozens of deaths. Homs became one of the most restive cities in Syria, with some activists labeling it the capital of the revolution.